Welcome back to Sally Talks Unedited about stuff she hasn't really thought about. Don't know why you've come back. Today I've been thinking about a video that Gary C made, and it actually links up also to a video that Jack Howard made, both on the topic of memories. So Gary C's argument seemed to be one of many arguments. It's a really interesting video actually, you should probably watch it. Guess where the video link is? If you can't guess, it's in the description. So he said that he's one of those people that takes lots and lots of photos and is constantly worried about documenting his life so that he won't forget it, and he had books and books of diaries for 10 years of his life, and he's thinking that now maybe he doesn't need to document his life so much and maybe he can just enjoy the moment for what it is rather than constantly thinking about, in the future, how am I going to look back on this moment, and live more in the moment, live life to the full. And conversely, Jack Howard, it must have been about a year ago now, made a video where he said that one of the qualities he admired in people was when they were self-aware and aware that they are making memories. And I think that these are both interesting views on memories, because I know that I am one of those people that constantly wants to make sure that there's some form of documentation. I've even started to scrapbook now, so that rather than mindlessly taking pictures and then them just ending up on a massive hard drive on my computer, or going on Facebook and where I will flick through them but you don't have the stories attached to the photos, you only get the photos. I've started to scrapbook for 2015, it's something I've been meaning to do for ages. I keep collecting little ticket slips and little memorabilia from where I've been and keeping it in boxes, and so I literally have boxes and boxes of just rubbish because it means nothing unless it has a story attached to it. But I finally, for 2015, started making a scrapbook, and it's really nice to think that I will have this preservation of my memories that I can look back over in the future. But there is then the downside that you're not then living life in the moment. On the flip side, I also agree with what Jack Howard says, and there are a few moments in my life, I say in my life, they've mostly been in the past 5 years or so, where it's almost like I'm so self-aware of the moment. It's almost like an out-of-body experience. It's very bizarre. It's nearly always when I'm in a big group of people. I suppose it's why a lot of people like religion, to be perfectly honest, because it's when I'm in a crowd. So one of them was, I had just been, talking of religion, I was at a talk in the Sheldonian Theatre, which is a gorgeous old building in Oxford, which was originally built as a theatre, but now is often a concert hall or a lecture theatre, which has a round dome which has been painted a bit like the Sistine Chapel, and round seats, and then the people perform at the front where it's flat. And I'd been to see Richard Dawkins debating with Rowan Williams, the Archbishop of Canterbury at the time. And the talk itself was, I can't really remember what he said. I can imagine that both of them were like, yes, you're both very clever people, we disagree on this, but we don't actually agree on this. The talk itself wasn't important, but then the theatre was packed, as you can imagine, for such an important debate. And the applause afterwards, the way that it resonated around the theatre, and I think the fact that it was round means that it echoed back at you. And applause is a very weird thing to do, to clap your hands together just to show that you like something. We're just making this noise by kind of flapping bits of our skin against our skin. It's a really bizarre thing to do. But when you have so many people doing it en masse, and then you also add in the echoes and the reverberations, it just becomes this wall of sound. And I became very aware that I was a tiny part of a much larger event. Same happened at the Olympics actually, when the noise, people say that noise is deafening, but the noise was so disorientating that standing up, you almost lose where your horizons are, because all you can see is people applauding everywhere. And another time where there wasn't applause was at the opening of the Natural History Museum last year, again in Oxford. but there was music, and I could loads of families sat around the big Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton, of course, listening to bluegrass music, a live band, and there were families and people from all walks of life just coming together, just appreciating it, and they closed the museum because they wanted to clean the glass roof. So now suddenly all the sunlight was streaming in, and it was late in the evening, so it's kind of dusky light, and I was very aware of myself being part of this larger event, and very aware that this was going to be, it was more of a feeling that I was going to remember than the event itself. And so sometimes, like Jack Howard was saying, I can be very conscious, like, this is an emotion that I am going to remember. And then the other part of me, like I said before, is worried that I'm going to forget things and need to document them all the time. So I suppose it's just a matter of finding the happy balance between taking all those photos and then sometimes focusing in, and sometimes taking a photo can focus your mind. When I do macro photography, I'm looking for the tiny details that I would have missed if I wasn't taking photos. I see the way that the sun shines through the dew on a grass blade, which I would notice if I wasn't stopping and looking. And so sometimes taking a photo at an event like this can kind of focus your mind on it and make you focus on the present. But then again, it can make you think about the future and how you're going to look back on it. It's difficult, isn't it? Life's difficult, and there are lots of nuances, and there are lots of factors that you have to get in the right balance. And I'd say, for now, especially now I started my scrapbook, I'd say I think I'm finding the right balance. I do like to document my life, but I don't think yet that it is to the detriment of me actually living my life. And I think that's where I'm going to end. Hopefully that wasn't as long as the last one. And next weekend I am going to be doing a live Q&A video stream thing. I'm good with technology, but not so good with Google Plus and Google Hangout-y things. I'm going to be doing that with 3 other Oxbridge or ex-Oxbridge students, and it's a Q&A all about Oxbridge and Oxbridge's missions, Oxbridge being Oxford and Cambridge combined, nice portmanteau. So if you, most of my audience well beyond this, but if you're interested in applying to university and you're thinking about Oxford or Cambridge, then you can send us a tweet or a question, I think question on the comments, and it will be on Sunday 8 PM, that is GMT, so that's UTC 0, Universal Time Code 0. I wish other people, this is my point, Tyler Oakley has made a very good video saying he wishes people would closed caption their videos, and that's something I need to look into. I wish people from different time zones would always give the UTC version of their time zone. So don't tell me that you're Eastern Pacific time or whatever it is. Tell me that you're, I don't know, UTC -7, because then we can all work it out much easier. So 8 PM Sunday the, let me check the calendar, Sunday the 25th, UTC 0, you can ask us questions about the Oxford experience or Cambridge experience, or not, because most of you I think are well beyond university life. But that's what I'm going to be doing, so see you soon and keep smiling.